You have here contradictions in poetry presenting three figures of speech. These figures of speech are, I mean, before we proceed to that, before we proceed to me reading these words, I'd like to invite three of you or a few of you to pronounce these words for us. Vem, how do we pronounce the first word, Vem? The first contradiction in poetry.
Irony, sir.
Irony, correct. At least there's not much of a problem on pronouncing that word. It's irony. Though however, others might say that the root word of the word irony is iron. Actually, that's not true. Irony stands as a separate semantic unit. It just remains as irony. Its root word is not iron. So it will not be read as irony. It really will be read as irony. Let's go to the third word. Let's skip the second word for now. Let's go to the third word. The third contradiction in poetry. Kathy, how do we read that word?
The third, sir.
Yes, yes.
Oxymoron, sir.
The word can be pronounced, the word that has the letter X. That is why people have the tendency to pronounce it as oxymoron. But actually, it's more appropriate pronunciation is oxymoron. So it's irony, oxymoron. Just like that part of a plant spelled as XYLEM. How do we pronounce that? XYLEM. We do not pronounce that as xylem. We pronounce that as xylem. How do we pronounce that musical instrument that begins with the letter X? The one that where you do this. We do not pronounce that as xylophone. We pronounce that as xylophone. Welcome to me ruining your lives. Let's go to the second word. The one spelled as Litotes. How do we pronounce this, Ken?
For me, it's litotis.
Again?
Wait. Litotis. Litotis. Wait.
That pronunciation of Ken actually is acceptable. I was just afraid that, again, it can be, there are two possible ways to pronounce this word. The first one is given by Ken. You can pronounce this as litotis. What is the other pronunciation? Alex?
I don't know, sir.
Just try, Alex, just try. I'm just hoping that you will not pronounce you will not pronounce the word in that way that I'm already thinking of right now. First pronunciation could be litotis. The second one, Alex, is?
I don't know.
Just try. Mispronouncing this word will not make you less of a person. Don't worry. We will not take it against you.
Litotis.
That's the pronunciation by Ken, litotis.
I don't know, sir. Mine is the same with Ken.
Yeah. Harl, what could be the other pronunciation of the word? And then one of you will say, no, sir, the word has only one pronunciation, and that's litotis.
Not sure, sir.
Again.
I'm not sure.
Go, Harl. Try.
Litotis.
That's similar to Ken's. I think I can see what you're doing right now. You are all playing it safe. You're getting it from the pronunciation given by Ken. At the same time, you're trying to give it a little difference or a twist so as not to really make a big mistake in pronouncing the word. Kim, would you like to try, Kim? What do you think is the other pronunciation of the word?
I'll try, sir. Sir, maybe, sir, lie to tease.
Again, lie.
Lie to tease.
Actually, that's how it's that's the other pronunciation, Kim. But it's not lie to tease. It's lie to tease. It's not lie to. It's lie to tease. So the word has two pronunciations, litotes, or, listen to the sound, litotes. Pronounced that way, the word ends in s. But pronounced the other way, litotes, it ends with z. The two ways of pronouncing the words give varying ways of producing the last sound. The first one again is litotes, while the second one is litotes. So you have irony, litotes or litotes, the second contradiction in poetry, and the last one is oxymoron. I'm just glad that no one from you pronounced it as litotes. If you did, I'll put you in the waiting room. Fortunately, no one pronounced it as litotes. So we begin with irony. Irony is a kind of contradiction or a figure of speech that shows a contradiction between what is said, what is heard, what is known, what is shown, versus what is intended. Again, get it from there. Despite the long definition that's found there, the main idea behind irony is there is a contradiction between what's said, what's heard, what's felt, what's shown, what's known, versus what is intended. So there is a discrepancy between what the speaker intends and what the speaker shows, exhibits, says, expresses, or shows, or performs. So the contradiction is really there. The irony is that they do not match. For instance, if someone tells you that you are so beautiful that your face can only be loved by your mother, there is now a discrepancy between what is said and what is really intended by the speaker. The word beautiful appears to be a positive word. I mean, it's meant to describe someone physically, perhaps. And then what came out in the latter portion of the sentence is something that puts the description to be very questionable. Why would someone be considered beautiful if that person has a face that can be loved by only one person? So that's ironic. That's where the irony comes in. Or someone might tell you, you are really quite tall because the only thing you can reach is the doorknob. So the irony is again there. As the word tall denotes of a good height for someone, the irony comes when the latter portion of the statement follows, where you have where you have the expression, the only thing you can reach is the doorknob. And I think the doorknobs in our respective homes have not been placed at a height that you cannot reach. I mean, if it's there, so many of you could not open your doors. I mean, let's just face it. If the doorknobs in your respective homes are placed somewhere at a height good for the word tall, then maybe so many of you would not be able to reach your doorknobs. For a while, excuse me, for a while. Irony comes in three types. You have verbal irony, situational irony, and dramatic irony. The examples that I gave earlier are clear-cut examples of verbal irony. The most common kind of that the most common kind of irony that exists. Whatever it is that you say contradicts with what you intend. I'd like to get examples from you, like Al. Try to give me another example of a verbal irony.
I am so thin.
Again, sorry.
I am so thin.
I am so.
I don't know, sir.
Huh?
Hello?
What's your what's your statement again?
I am so thin.
I am what?
I never mind, sir.
What did? Sorry, I didn't get it
Oh,
right. Oh, what I heard was I am so sin. I am so. That's what I heard at first. I am so sin, and then later on, probably it's the word seen. I am so seen, because your frame is kind of showing a dark silhouette of yourself. So I thought that's what you're referring to. But what you said was I am so thin. Oh, wait, are you not Al?
no.
Oh, Al was too quick to give an answer to that question. Anyway, Al, the word thin is nothing but relative. Plus, Al, blessed are we who have this body structure, Al. Take note of that. The moment a global recession comes, always be reminded, silang lahat mamamatay na, tayo magiging payat pa lang. Alha, don't forget that. Tayong matataba, papayat pa lang. Silang lahat na payat na, mamamatay. So don't worry, Al. Don't feel anything wrong about having that body. We just have so much of our body to share to other people. That's why we are so blessed with this bodily structure. Just watch. Your classmates will soon be searching for that body structure. I'd like to ask Aisha, give us another verbal irony example.
Wait, sir. Looking at her daughter's room, the mom says, "Wow, your room is so clean. You can win an award.
Again, you can.
You can win an award."
Where's the irony part there? I think what I got is looking at her daughter's room, the mom said, "Wow, your room is so clean, you can win an award."
Looking
Where's
at
the
her daughter's messy room, the mom
there?
said,
Look, I think that makes it more meaningful now. Looking at her daughter's messy room, her mom said, "Wow, your room is so clean, you can win an award." The irony is there is a form of praise that does not match with what's really seen. So the intention does not really exactly match with whatever was said by the mother. So the discrepancy is there. That's where the irony comes. By the way, before I also proceed, I'd like to remind you that one of my videos, I'm sharing this, one of my videos in my YouTube channel has 916 views as of today. Again, one of my videos in YouTube has a number of views which I did not expect to have reached that, which I did not expect. As of this time, that video has 916 views. I don't know how it happened. Probably students made troll accounts. But now that you have known this, try to package yourselves properly, people, in our discussions, because the world is seeing you. The world sees you. And just to remind you, that video is in a business finance class. In that class, I only have two students, Nathan Mamakos and Nicole Golosino of the grade 12 batch. And then again, it always astounds me as to how it reached that number of 916, 918. I don't know how Nicole and Nathan did it, but maybe there are also some people outside of this institution who browsed YouTube and then they found the video. And oh, another thing, that video has 22 likes. Oh, though it's a small, I know it's a small thing, but that is to inform everybody. You're so rude, people. Your claps are ironic. You're doing claps of irony for sure. For sure, those are claps of irony. Stop. Just stop. So I'm sharing you this so that the next time you join my Zoom class, you try to always remind yourself, hala, I will appear in the YouTube channel of Sir Sim. I should look at my best. I should be at my best. Because one, who knows, babe, who knows? There just might be one comment. As of this time, not one of my videos got a comment. But who knows? Just one of them might receive a comment that says, may I know the name of the boy who is sitting in the porch with a native chair, with a wooden chair behind him? No, Chixley, we're not referring to you. We're referring to Kent Barcinilia. We just cannot see him right now. Chixley, assuming much. Chixley, assuming much. Oh, diba? Just be ready. Or we would like to know the name of the girl with the brown closet or cabinet behind her. What's her name? We would like to recruit her in our terrorist group. We would like to recruit we would like to recruit the boy wearing a black shirt. He could be a good terrorist leader. May we know the boy who when turned on spoke with so many chicken noises behind him? We thought the chickens were already killed last week. What happened? So again, keep that in mind, people. The world is watching us do this class. So always be at your best. Fix your hair, fix yourselves, fix your face. If it cannot anymore be fixed, live with it. Another irony. Situational irony. How does situational irony work? The definition, unfortunately, isn't there. Situational irony is a kind of irony that shows a discrepancy or a contradiction between what happened, what's done, what's performed, or what's the supposed performance, and what's the intention of that incident. Again, there's a contradiction between what's performed, what's shown. So this is something to do with actions, with occurrences, between these occurrences and the intention of that particular event. For instance, a fire station that burns down. The intention of the situation is a particular location, building, or structure was burned down. However, the building that was burned down is hopefully expected not to be subjected to the situation, not to perform in that manner. I mean, a fire station, a building who supposedly addresses houses or buildings being burned down, is the one that got burned down. Another one, an ambulance meeting an accident. Because the ambulance is supposed to be the one who's going to respond right away to accidents. But it got subjected to such a situation. However, we are not saying that situations of this sort are not possible from happening. They can. They can actually happen. For instance, a top performing student failing in a subject. That is a situational irony. Just because we are not, I'm not impliedly addressing this to anybody. This is not impliedly addressed to anyone in this class. They got worried. No. Just because though a student got a grade of 95 or 96 in one subject doesn't mean that that student could not get a 72 in the next quarter. Who knows? Something might have just really happened, so troubling to the student that the student lost focus, and then turning to that point where the student lost the interest to study, to perform well in school, failing in a subject. It can happen. Or one other, though this is, oh my God. one stupid example. This is a stupid example, but this is an example of a situational irony. Classroom setup. Then the teacher would ask one student, um, can you sing? And the student be like, no, I don't know how to sing. Sa isang pangarap. No, I don't know how to sing. I swear. Ako'y naniniwala. No, please don't push me to sing. Please don't force me. Hindi ako titigil. No, I really do not know how to sing. Or, who among you here knows how to dance? And then students would be saying, Trixley, sir, Trixley knows how to dance. And Trixley would, no, please stop. I don't know how to dance. That is a situational irony, a contradiction with what's the intention of the event or of the occurrence in relation to what's actually shown or performed. I don't know if you've been through this experience though, but at least a situational irony really exists. The last kind of irony is a dramatic irony. The dramatic irony, fortunately, a definition is found there, is one where the audience or reader is aware of pertinent information that the characters have not come to be aware of. So dramatic irony more or less invites us to know something which characters in a selection do not know, or characters in a narrative have not been aware of. So dramatic irony more or less requires the involvement of a literary material. For instance, the example here, Hansel and Gretel. When we read the story of Hansel and Gretel, the characters here are identified as little kids who were placed or who were abandoned in a forest by their father, and then as they wandered in the forest, they reached a house made of candy, and in that house lived a lady, an old lady, whom beforehand we as the readers knew was a witch who wanted to eat Hansel and Gretel. But of course, did Hansel and Gretel know this beforehand? They did not. So that's dramatic irony. Another comparison or contradiction in poetry is the second one, litotes or litotes. Litotes is an understatement by using double negatives. There are double negative expressions found in a statement, leading to the creation of an understatement. So you have a positive statement expressed by negating its opposite expressions. Like that of number 1, please do the corrections in your paper. That's supposed to be unhappiest. It's not just happiest, it's unhappiest. So the supposed statement is, they do not seem the unhappiest couple around. The word not is placed together with unhappiest. So you have not and unhappiest placed together, thereby creating an understatement, which is one that is not unhappiest equivalent to happiest. It's just that the placement of not understates the feeling of happy, the superlative feeling of happiness that's felt by the couple. Again, how you have not negating unhappiest, just like how it works in mathematics. Negative to negative translate, negative multiplied by something negative translates to something positive. The second example, the ice cream was not too bad. Not is a negative. To what part of speech does the word not belong? Al, to what part of speech does the word not belong?
Forgot na, sir.
Wait.
Forgot na, sir.
You got this in diagramming. You included not in diagramming. Jacob, to what part of speech does the word not belong?
I'm not sure, sir.
I'm
don't
not
know,
sure.
sir.
It's not a part of speech.
I don't know, sir.
Shalaila, to what part of speech does the word not belong? These people, oh, Harvey. Wait, what happened to your parts of speech? Kathy, to what part of speech does the word not belong?
I'm not sure, sir, but I'll try.
Go.
Adverb?
It's an adverb, correct. It's an adverb of negation. Just like no, not, never. So there are a few adverbs of negation. One of them is not. So you have the word not in that statement. What other negative word can we find in the second example, Raphael? What other
Bad, sir.
negative word? You have the word bad,
Bad.
correct. So you have the word not negating bad. Therefore, you can create an understatement saying that the ice cream was good. That's its equivalence in positive terms. So the understatement uses the two negative terms. The translation, the positive understatement leads to a positive expression. The third one, your comments on politics are not useless. Obviously, you have not and useless placed together, as not tries to negate useless. So you can create a positive translation which says your comments on politics are useful. The fifth one, I cannot disagree with your point of view. So you have cannot, or sorry, not paired with disagree, as the word dis is a prefix signifying not. So you can have a translation in positive terms as I can agree with your point of view. The fifth one, William Shakespeare was not a bad playwright at all. Just like how bad was negated by not in the second statement, this fifth statement can be translated into something positive that says William Shakespeare was a good playwright at all, or was a good playwright. So that's the concept of lightities, a negative term placed together with another negative expression. These two negate each other, thereby creating an understatement. The last one is oxymoron. Again, it's oxymoron. To where there are two words or expressions that supposedly contradict each other, yet they are placed together. So we have expressions, single word expressions or single word terms placed together in one sentence, but technically these terms or expressions contradict each other. For instance, you have only choice. What's the irony behind only choice, kid?
Ano sir, when you, di ba, the choice comes from the verb choose, di ba? And choose is like to pick from two different options, then it's the word only signifies na it's only one instead of two.
Correct. So that's the irony. That's the contradiction there. That's what makes the contradiction. The word only, as said by Kim, denotes that there's just one. The word choice denotes that there's a list of at least two options or choices, that you have to choose from at least two options. Let's go with same difference. If you have difference, supposedly they are not the same. Friendly fire. If people are subjected in a fire, or that they are placed in a situation where they fire at each other, they're not expected to be friends. Virtual reality. A virtual world is supposedly not a real world, while a real world is not supposed to be a virtual world. The last one, controlled chaos. When there is supposed to be control, chaos is not supposed to arise. And when there's chaos, technically it's not, things are out of control. Other obvious examples, for sure a few of you have been guilty of this. Original copy. An original is not supposed to be a copy, nor can a copy supposed to be an original document. But then again, literature accepts these expressions. Literature allows these expressions to be used as they actually invite a figurative interpretation. Another example, all alone. Like when you tell someone, I'm all alone at home. When you are just by yourself, okay, that's where the word alone comes. But the word all technically denotes how many? More than one. So the contradiction comes when you said all alone. So you have still a number, there are quite a number of available oxymorons in literature, and these are the expressions, again, they may sound grammatically incorrect, but literature would still accept them. Because literature accepts them, grammar or the English grammar tries to also embrace the presence of these oxymorons. That is why when you do formal themes, when you do technical writing, and then it turns out that you use expressions like the original copy of the file has been sent, like if you made a letter, you informed someone the original copy of the file has been sent through to your email. Original copy there will still be accepted in the English language. So you have those three contradictions in poetry. In literature, you have irony, litotes, and oxymoron. Actually, if you go with these three, they get to be expanded. They get to be not expanded. They get to be extended. Like you have paradox and the rest of the other figures of speech. But I'd like us to focus more for now on these three basic contradictions in poetry. From there, we have the poem entitled Sun Shines on the Righteous. This poem actually shows a contradiction. And later on, after I read the poem for you, I'd like to ask a few of you to share the contradiction that you can find from this selection. And as you are seeing right now, this is a poetic material. So guess what you'll do afterwards? Poetry reading. Fortunately, it's not a long one. It's not a long text. Sun shines on the righteous. It's only the good that die young. I sadly have found it seems true. While evil across earth is flung, God's purest of souls are too few. I sadly have found it seems true. The wicked live long past their prime. God's purest of souls are too few on earth. God's purest of souls are too few. On earth they live but a short time. The wicked live long past their prime. The goodly to heaven do go. On earth they live but a short time. The sun shines on the righteous though. The goodly to heaven do go, while evil across earth is flung. The sun shines on the righteous though, it's only the good that die young. Can you see the play of lines, not just words, the play of lines that the poet did with this selection? You look at the first line, it's only the good that die young. It can also be found on the last line. The second line of the first stanza, I sadly have found it seems true, is the first line of the second stanza. And that's the pattern that the poet did. The second line of the second stanza is the first line of the third stanza. The second line of the third stanza is the first line of the fourth stanza. There's a play that the poet did here. So now I'd like to ask a few of you to do a sharing. What contradiction can you find in this selection? You don't have to really tell me that, sorry, there's an irony here, there's a litotes, there's an oxymoron. I just want to know the contradiction that you could find from this text. I'd like to listen to Trixley. Look at the idea relayed by the poem to us. What contradiction can be found here, Trixley? This me asking you right now of the contradiction in this text. This is inviting you to know the theme of the selection. Go, Trixley.
Ano, sir? Ay, may I ask you a question, sir? What's flung, sir?
Long, like they are being thrown.
Uh,
They are being thrown away or distributed. In the context of this selection, the word flung there means being placed or distributed somewhere.
the wicked live long past their prime, sir.
Give us the idea of what the contradiction is. What is the contradiction? Go, Trixley. Trixley, we can also
Like
hear some.
this,
We
will
can also hear some chickens there, so you know what to do. Wait for the neighbors to sleep, and once they're out sleeping, kill each chicken one at a time. I'm not
ano, sir?
asking for this selection for the question on what contradiction you can find in sun shines on the righteous. I'm not asking that you should give me the figure of speech. I'm not asking you to tell me that there's irony, lighthearted, or oxymoron. What I'm asking you to do is to tell me the contradiction, the idea of contradiction that's found in the text. I think for a while, Trixila, I'll give the floor to another classmate. Let's go to Vem. What contradiction can you find here, Vem?
Sir, I'm not sure, but I think the contradiction, sir, is like it's the good that die young when supposedly it should be the evil. I mean, like, why should the good die young?
Go on, go
Something like
on.
that. Yes, sir. Like the wicked live long past their prime, but the good is the one that die young.
So that's actually a good contradiction that Vem has found. Correct, Vem? The idea of why the good should supposedly die young when they're aren't they the ones that are supposed to flourish in this world? Are they not the ones who are supposed to enjoy this world more? Are they not the ones who are supposed to be given more life? Why should we give more life to those who are considered wicked? Why should they be made to live longer than those who are living better lives? Those who are considered good. So that's the contradiction. That's actually the main contradiction that's found in this text. Why do we give more time for those who are wicked than those who are good? To the point that those who are wicked live longer beyond their age of prime, meaning beyond the age of maturity, beyond the age that they have really maximized their lives, they get to do more. While those who are good probably have not reached that point in their lives. This is quite synonymous or parallel to a Filipino adage that you might have heard already before. Masamang damo, matagal, mamatay. So that's more or less the adage that's similar to this. So for the sun shines on the righteous, I'd like to require everybody to do a recorded poetry reading of this. Because there's a reason why I have to leave. I'll have to cut the discussion short. Like what I said earlier, the remaining minutes before 8:30 will be spared for for the purpose of telling students who have not complied with everything of whatever it is that they lack. Do we have some questions and contradictions in poetry for irony, lighthearted, and oxymoron? Questions? Any question? Have you seen your ST in Edmodo?